afternoon. Welcome to KARK 4 News at 12:30. I'm Mandy Noell. Thanks for being here with us. Let's get right to the headlines now. A man is in custody after a deadly shooting Saturday morning.
Hey, happy Friday. We finally made it through the work week. Good morning. Thank you for joining News Speed Now. I'm Mandy Noell. The CDC has a new message for Americans. If you're fully vaccinated, it's okay to go outdoors without masks, except if you're in a crowded setting.
Hey, we've been telling you there's a nationwide blood shortage. It's here in Arkansas, too. The Little Rock Police Department is hosting its Boots and Badges blood drive. We have been talking about this for months, ever since the mayor brought it to the board. The Little Rock Board of Directors decided to put the fate of the mayor's proposed penny sales tax increase in the hands of voters.
In a story we continue covering, protests in Lonoke County are heated as family and friends continue calling for justice in the death of 17-year-old Hunter Britton.
In Texarkana, a man has been arrested accused of putting his girlfriend's toddler in scalding hot water as punishment for having a dirty diaper. The story, we were live all morning with breaking news covering an 18-year-old we now know was shot and killed yesterday morning. Good afternoon. Welcome to KARK 4 News at 12:30. I'm Mandy Noell. Thanks for being here with us. Let's get right to the headlines now. A man is in custody after a deadly shooting Saturday morning. Little Rock police arrested A.C. Cummins. This man following a shooting on Fair Park Boulevard. Police say one man was shot at the Days Inn and taken to the hospital where he later died. This is the city's 21st homicide of the year. Cummins has been charged with first-degree murder. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department needs your help identifying this woman, a porch pirate caught on camera. Deputies say she was caught stealing a package off a home's doorstep on Silver Fawn Drive. They say she got out of what appeared to be a white Dodge Nitro. She was seen grabbing the package from the front steps before running back to the car and driving away. Anyone with information is asked to call the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. A ceremony over the weekend commemorated 3 decades in the search for solutions to violence in Arkansas. Arkansas Stop the Violence was founded 30 years ago by Reverend Benny Johnson during a particularly violent period of drug and gang activity in central Arkansas. A service was held at the Greater Shiloh Baptist Church in North Little Rock. An officer who spoke said building relationships with the community is key. Our own Alexis Wainwright spoke at the event alongside Reverend Benny Johnson and other members of the community. The British royal family said its final goodbyes to Queen Elizabeth's late husband, Prince Philip, on Saturday. The official mourning period is over. Now the public in the UK is focused on the family's future. Kelly Cobiella reports from London. Historic flight on Mars. New video this morning shows NASA's miniature helicopter Ingenuity lifting up above the Martian surface. The 4-pound solar-powered machine flew to an altitude of 10 feet, hovered for about 40 seconds, then touched back down. Just before 7 a.m. Eastern time, a photograph popped up on a screen in the office showing a shadow of Ingenuity on Mars' surface. But not long after, a color video showing the full flight was processed, sending mission control into cheers and applause. Quite an accomplishment. Ingenuity is expected to take several flights in the week ahead. Coming up, the D-O-double-G is going to be on KARK. No doubles there. Tonight, we'll have a preview of tonight's all-new episode of The Voice with the legend of hip-hop giving one contestant a hand.
Up around Dumas and Pickens, some people can't go home this evening. The water still too high.
Whereas Mandy Noell spoke with one man whose entire neighborhood is submerged.
This beautiful home is not on lakefront property. That's not what's supposed to be behind me. That's a field, thousands of acres of farm field. Farmers growing their crops, and those are ruined. This homeowner says not only has it never flooded like this in the 40 years that he's lived here, since he built this house, it's never flooded at all.
It started on Monday, getting some rain, but for the last 3 days, total now we've had over 15 inches of rain.
Miles of fields along Highway 65 turned into lakes. Homes now islands. Fire hydrants are bobbers.
I didn't think it was going to rise that much. I really didn't. But it was just too much.
And suddenly yesterday, James Chatham and his wife were forced from their home off 159 in Pickens.
And the canal just overloaded.
The scope of damage, unlike anything he's ever seen.
Well, it's going to be some major. Most all these homes they don't have flood insurance.
A disaster for neighbors and farmers.
The soybeans were already a foot tall, and it's covered them a foot and a half deep in water.
Crops that won't recover.
They're dead. He ain't got a chance to replant this year. It's too late. So he's done lost a crop.
Chatham is hoping state lawmakers will help.
Declare a disaster here. Maybe the governor should. I would think he should.
So what's next for Chatham and his wife and all of these neighbors on this road? They don't know. The water levels are still rising and there's more rain on the way. So not only can they not get inside now, they don't know when they're going to be able to. In Pickens, I'm Mandy Noell. Back to you.
We know STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You probably think of robots and gaming, and there's plenty of that at the STEM Academy.
There is. There's a lot more, too. Students learn to create, innovate, and invent. Today, KRK4's Mandy Noell spoke with one student who, as a fourth grader, invented a doll that looks like her sister.
Her award-winning creation is turning heads, teaching others about inclusivity.
My sister's fed through a tube.
Isabel Hansen is going into 5th grade next year. In 4th grade at Forest Heights, part of Little Rock School District's STEM Academy, she was given a unique task.
We did a project where you got to come up with your own invention.
Isabel chose to invent a doll, but not any doll, one that looks and functions like her sister Delilah.
There are a lot of different people in our world and they want to be represented.
So she and her father Noah got to work on the prototype.
To be friend, one doll for all. So instead of being fed through your mouth and it going down your throat, it goes directly into your stomach from a port on your belly.
The prototype is a soft, bean-filled doll. It got wet, so they found a hard plastic doll, one able to take a bottle.
Now we also put a tube through here to where it can eat through its stomach and through its mouth.
That's not the only reason she chose this doll. Not everyone with tubes looks like Isabel's sister.
There are a lot of different styles and skin tones in this doll, so I could make a different diverse versions of it.
Inclusive.
I love Isabel's thought process. She always wants to include as many people and as many groups as possible. And
so what's next for Tubie Dolls? Her invention won her a prize in the competition, $125.
And I'm using it to make more and buy supplies to make more Tubie friends.
After that, using her dolls to help other kids like Delilah.
Definitely making more, maybe donating some to Children's Hospital to give to kids who had button surgeries.
Another child might be able to be less scared or, again, reduce some of that stigma.
Now from the FBI. Parents, you should know what your kids are doing on their phones and computers.
At all times. You've heard it before, but there are people out there looking to sexually exploit your kids. Our Mandy Noell investigates how the pandemic is playing a role in an uptick in child exploitation cases.
More kids are home and spending more time on their phones and computers during the pandemic. They may be unsupervised. Predators know this and they're taking advantage of it.
More people are at home, more people are accessing the internet. It's hard when parents are trying to work.
It's been always a steady stream of these cases since COVID-19 hit. We've opened more cases this year than we did in years prior.
These two women are the experts. Tanya Sablatora is a supervisory special agent for the FBI. She's in charge of the Violent Crime Squad in Little Rock. She finds the predators. Kristen Bryant is an assistant U.S. attorney. She prosecutes the predators.
Predators on the internet are experts at finding your weakness.
Playing a game of pretend with your kid.
Someone who may say, hey, I'm friends with so-and-so from your school. You can trust me. You can talk to me.
It's social media. It's gaming sites. It's any place your child can chat.
They're tricked into thinking they're talking to a 13-year-old when they're really talking to a 60-year-old adult behind a computer sitting at home.
Who is portraying themselves as somebody who's very popular, somebody who's very beautiful, very sexy, and they end up exchanging compromising photographs of themselves. And then the predator will use those photographs to extort them into potentially producing more sexually explicit photographs or requesting that they pay.
Parents, this isn't supposed to be a scare piece. That's not the point of this story. We want to make you aware, because when the FBI comes knocking on doors, the reaction from parents is, I never thought this could happen to my kid, but it can, and you have to take it seriously.
You have lots of cases where minors, luckily their parents intercepted them before they were set to go meet someone.
That doesn't always happen. One case in particular sticks with Sablatora.
It was Casey Woody, and her dad had done everything right.
A Faulkner County teen who in 2002 thought she was talking to another teen.
She was 13 at the time, but in fact she was talking with a 40-something-year-old male in California.
He slowly learned more about her.
Who was using any information that she could provide him on the internet, such as where she lived, how many siblings did she have, does she have pets, what were the working hours of her father.
He used that information to find her. Then he abducted her. Investigators tracked them to a storage unit in Conway.
By the time law enforcement opened the garage door to the unit, they heard a gunshot, and he had already killed Casey, and he had committed suicide by the time they got to him.
It's understandable that parents want to give kids independence, especially teens, but it's a dangerous dance with internet freedom.
Parents, you cannot chaperone your kids enough. If you think you know all the email accounts your child is using, you think you know all the applications that they're using, I would say most of the time you're wrong.
I don't think that children should have accounts that parents do not know the passwords to, that parents aren't actively checking.
Bryant says her office typically prosecutes 50 to 60 child exploitation cases in a given year.
Each one of those cases usually has more than one victim, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 20 victims. And so the numbers, they don't lie.
The FBI always takes tips. You can remain anonymous. If you need to report something, there are a number of ways to do so. You can look for this story on our website, fox16.com, and we'll tell you how. Welcome back. 4:09 is our time. Well, when I first read this story, I was ready to tell you, Carmen, it's been a pleasure. It's been a delight, but I've got to go. I found my calling.
Great.
There's an app that will pay you with pizza to eat more pizza. And in hindsight, when I read the last part, I decided that $25 a week is not enough to fund even my dog's treat habit.
I was about to say $25 a week.
Yeah, I'm going to survive on that. No, can't do it.
But it would be good for if you wanted incentive to go eat pizza every week.
I don't even need to be paid for that. Is this some of that venom that was down there? All right, I've been challenged. Okay, well, maybe just, okay. It's a 5-second rule, right? Okay.
Go on your time. Bitter. Ah! Is it good?
Well, there you have it.
Look who we have over here. So
I made
her come over here. She's not mic because I unplugged her mic, but she's tied down to this, so I dragged her like, what are you doing?
We were talking about Mandy earlier. What if you put your hands behind your back? Could you hide your arms and hands? There we go. Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, just a little hand. That's awesome.